Two losses to TCU and SMU as part of their stacked non-conference schedule. Meanwhile, Maryland starting its year 2-0. It'll be Reese that wins the tip. Here comes Gillespie and the Terrapins. Maryland's gotten off to fast starts, and it's been due to this guy, Derek Queen, and he's going to draw the foul right away.
I like immediately getting Queen involved in the high screen and roll. You've got the shooting threat in Gillespie. You get the defense pulled towards him. Queen's got a free run at the hoop, draws the foul.
So right to the line goes one of the highest rated freshman recruits in program history, Derek Queen, the freshman out of Baltimore. 22 points in the opener for Queen, just 8 on Friday against Mount St. Mary's. We won't have the first point of the game right here as the first one rattles out. Maryland so far as a team shooting just over 70% from the charity stripe to start the year. And Queen's going to give Maryland an early 1-0 lead. And now here comes this Florida A&M squad getting outscored mightily so far to start the year. Only 59 points in the opener, giving up 102 to TCU. And right away, the backcourt violation. This Maryland defense has been so good to start the year, Jack.
Yeah, that's that top 10 defense right there. I love the pressing from the go. It shows some aggression. It's always good to see. We love to see a team pressing from the opening tip.
That's a Kevin Willard defense right there. Willard in his 3rd season as this Maryland head coach. 28 wins here at the Xfinity Center in 35 games. Now here's Juju Reese, double team, finds a wide open Gillespie from the corner. Can't get it to go, but a great board by Deshaun Harris-Smith. Came in a very highly touted recruit last year, the sophomore from Woodbridge, Virginia. He's going to take a mid-range jumper. That can't go. Another offensive board for Derek Queen, who uses the left hook to give Maryland a 3-0 lead.
Just a huge size advantage there. Good job using that front shoulder to create some space. Got the left hand baby hook over the top. Just beautiful.
It's full court press from Maryland. Seems to be the go-to right away, but getting it past midcourt is Milton Matthews, the Maryland native, a homecoming for Matthews, the native of District Heights. Now in the hands of Sterling Young, our player to watch. There's Selton Miguel defending Matthews for Maryland. Very tight defense all the way around the key. That one's stolen away by Derek Queen. All the way up court to Selton Miguel, who gets the finish and one.
Maryland's defense has been impressive early. That time it was the length of Queen getting in the passing lane. And look at the outlet pass out to Miguel, finishing through contact. Take a look back there at the previous bucket. Queen just using that front shoulder. Back down on the other end with the steal and the assist. Padding the stat sheet early.
Those two, Queen and Miguel, two of the biggest acquisitions for this Maryland team entering the 2024 season. So many new faces as Shakir O'Neal checks into the game, the son of Shaq. But Miguel to try and extend this Maryland lead. And it's good.
This is such a departure from their last game against the Mount. They got kind of surprised by Mount St. Mary's intensity early, fell behind in those first couple of minutes. Today it's Maryland bringing the fight to A&M.
Another close call for Florida A&M with the backcourt violation. Already one of those if you're just joining us here on this Monday night from Xfinity Center. Here's Young looking inside for Caleb Washington, who also just checked in. Washington a mismatch with Gillespie. Mid-range J, no good, and the scoring drought continues for the Rattlers. Now Gillespie looking for his first points, averaging 14.5 so far over the first 2. Gives it off to Reese, using that right shoulder and getting it to rattle home. And that's going to result in a Florida A&M timeout. What a start for Maryland, very similar to what happened on Friday against Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah, I love there, as you see on the defensive end, the great contest from Gillespie here, getting up, bothering the shooter. And then on the other end, Juju Reese using that front shoulder, taking advantage of the size he has. The help came, but not in time. Easy bucket for Reese.
So much depth on this Maryland squad, led by their head coach, Kevin Willard. We talked about him a little bit earlier. In his third season, 40-30 with this Maryland team. A 79-49 win in the opener against Manhattan, and that 86-52 victory the other day against the Mount.
And it does feel like in this third season, an identity is coalescing a little bit. This team defends hard, 1-5. They're going to score from the inside out with Juju Reese and Derek Queen inside, and they finally got some shooters surrounding that big man talent. We saw both Rodney Rice and Gillespie cash in plenty of times from 3 against Mount St. Mary's. Looking to continue that.
Back after the quick 30-second timeout, Maryland's made its last 3 field goal attempts, 3 of 5 to start. Florida A&M's got to get up, kick ball, but also the backcourt. This Maryland defense is stingy.
Yeah, that's the second 10-second violation forced by Maryland, and credit to their guards just manning up Gillespie one-on-one, Miguel with the help. Just suffocating defense in the backcourt.
Suffocating, the right word for it, Jack. Gillespie's been the main guy causing both of those 10-second violations. What a find by Queen inside. Reese can't get the finish.
And that's an interesting way that Queen has been deployed. Coming out of high school, one of the first things on his scouting report was the vision, the high basketball IQ. They've got him operating here out of the high post, finding Reese on the cut, a beautiful find. He'll go to the line for 2.
A fastball inside the paint for Queen to Reese. There's been so much talk about those two playing on the court together.
You know, there are some potential issues as Reese cashes in the first free throw. You worry about shooting and spacing, but with the type of IQ that Queen has, the fact that he can venture out beyond the three-point line, pass and run the offense from there, that negates some of those concerns and opens up the floor for this Terrapin squad.
Reese averaging 9 points, almost 8 boards a game over the first 2, and he's got a 2-for-2 start from the line, something he's improving on from last year.
That's another thing that'll help. If both of those big men can start hitting their free throws consistently, that's a big boon.
Reese now 10 of 16 from the charity stripe to start the season. And again, this Maryland defense going full court press. This one stripped away by Deshaun Harris-Smith. Gillespie right back to DHS for 2.
I mean, A&M can't get the ball past half court right now. A 12-0 run almost entirely because of the backcourt defense. And here we are again.
This time the Rattlers do get it up. It's in the hands of Eaton. Let's see if the Rattlers can finally get on the board. That's going to be an offensive foul. The struggles continue for Florida A&M here on the road.
You see right here, this time it's Deshaun Harris-Smith with the pick. Gillespie drawing the defense in. A nice dish down to Harris-Smith, rewarding him for the steal.
Deshaun Harris-Smith, such a good player in the lane.
I mean, he's so strong, so physical on both ends of the court.
A 12-0 run to start this game for Maryland. A team that put up 58 in the first half on Friday. Miguel's going to add 3 more. Unbelievable start for this Maryland squad. 15 straight over the first 3 minutes. And now Florida A&M trying to respond, get their first points of the ball game. Here's O'Neal. Right back to Shirley. Inside, posting up against Queen, and there it is.
And that's what the Rattlers need to do. They need to pass out of that press. Early on, they've been trying to dribble out of it, and it just hasn't worked. That's the first time they've broken the press with timely passes, and look, they got a bucket at the end of it.
Was on the inside there, but another look at that Selton Miguel 3 from the wing.
And Maryland has 2 big men who can pass out of that high post in Julian Reese and Derek Queen as Derek Queen subs out here. This time it's Reese running the offense from there. Quick vision, catches it, immediately swinging it over to Selton Miguel for the 3.
Jordan Geronimo will check in for Maryland as Queen comes out. That personal foul was on O'Neal, who's already up to 2. Plenty of time for Miguel, who's going to take one from distance, in and out. O'Neal with the board.
Testing the range there early from Miguel.
Now let's see if Florida A&M can get some momentum going. Finally got that first shot to go. They've only taken 2 shot attempts so far in the first 4 minutes of this one. Inside, here's Trey Lewis, deflected, eventually goes into the hands of Julian Reese.
And that time is the length of Geronimo, who's an incredible defender, both team and one-on-one. Bothered that shot.
Little floater tries to use the backboard, does Reese. Can't get it to go. Can't say we've seen him take a whole lot of that shot specifically throughout his 4 years here at Maryland. Here's Eaton. There it is. Eatman with his first points.
Nice job creating space there, spinning back to the offhand.
So for Maryland, it was 15 in a row to start, 4 in a row now for Florida A&M. That one batted away. Tyler Shirley getting involved, using all 6 feet 8 inches he's got. And on the other way, the fast break for Florida A&M results in that foul on Deshaun Harris-Smith. But what a start it was for the Maryland defense, including a touch and go to Deshaun Harris-Smith, an 11-point lead heading into the first timeout. Violations in the backcourt.
Yeah, and it really comes down to the elite on-ball defense of Maryland's backcourt. You knew that that was going to be a focus coming in. Kevin Willard plays from defense to offense. His focus is always going to be on that side of the ball. They're getting contributions 1 to 5. You see Derek Queen in the passing lanes using his length. You see the guards using their strength and speed on ball. You see Selton Miguel getting a hand in. You see Derek Queen. I mean, when you have this kind of buy-in, 1 to 5, you've got guys who came out of high school known as scorers, known as maybe not the highest motor guys. Willard turning them into an elite defensive unit that's all bought in clearly, and it's worked so far early this season.
Already 2 steals for this Maryland team, one by Harris-Smith, one by Derek Queen, which we just showed. As Maryland holds on to this 11-point advantage into this second 4-minute segment of the first half. Some nifty moves inside by Jadarius Eatman as he's up to 6 points. That could be something to watch for Florida A&M. That success down low as Rodney Rice checks in and immediately gets a bucket. Why not?
And see, that's the type of shot that he was hitting in their last game against Mount St. Mary's. Those mid-range jumpers, I know that they're not the most efficient when you look at the analytics, but opens up a whole new dimension for this offense.
Shirley with the mid-range jumper can't go. Quick board back out to Trey Lewis, all the way over to O'Neal inside, working through the double team, trying to get his own board, but it's Jay Young for the Terps that comes up with it. Couple new faces in there for Maryland, including Young and Rice, as long as Tafara Gapari along the block. Queen loses that one. Maryland's rhythm seems to have dissipated over these last 2 minutes. Lewis thought about it, inside to the corner, wide open Shirley. Can't get the first 3 to fall for Florida A&M. Now Rice, he's trying to stay hot. Can't do it right there.
Like the confidence there though, shot it in rhythm right off the pass.
Once again for Rodney Rice, the transfer from Virginia Tech, 28 points in Friday's win over Mount St. Mary's. What a ball, what a finish. Lewis with the assist, Shirley with the tray.
And Florida A&M has settled down a little bit early on. They were trying to do it one-on-one in the backcourt against the press. They've started to trust each other, pass the ball more, and they've been able to break the press on a lot of consecutive possessions. They're getting open looks too, which is always the danger when you go full court.
Nice little run here by Florida A&M. Here's Gapari in the corner. Gonna find Rodney Rice. On the point right now for Maryland. Gapari thinks about it, only has a couple to shoot. Rice, wing 3, no good.
A little bit of a stagnant offensive possession from Maryland there. They were settled right on that right wing. Didn't really force A&M to rotate.
Maryland was up 15-0, a 9-2 Florida A&M run over the last 3 minutes and change. Rattlers trying to get into double digits. Here's Eatman on Queen, inside Shirley against Gapari. Trying to get the foul, and he will.
That's a really great job from Eatman there, using the pump fake to get Gapari up in the air, rotating into it. And I mean, look how much more efficiently, when you see that trap, right, when you get the double team, what's gonna happen, you have a teammate open. In those first couple minutes, Florida A&M was just a little bit chaotic, as you see right here, generating the foul there from Gapari. As they've settled down, trust each other, move the ball around more, when you have a team that ball pressures as aggressively as Maryland does, you will have open looks if you have the patience to find them.
Great ball fake by Shirley right there to draw the foul against Gapari.
That's another element of patience right there, using pace, manipulating that pace to force an over-aggressive defense into mistakes.
Shirley with his second start so far this season. He'll sink the first as the Rattlers get up to 10 points, and Kevin Willard makes a ton of changes, 3 of them.
Yeah, and that's the other element of a defense that presses and traps as much as Maryland does. It's tiring. You're going to have a lot of guys get in. Also, with the Marquette game coming up, you want to keep the legs fresh. But even in ranked games this year, they're going to have to sub more than maybe they've been used to in the past.
Second one off the front of the rim and no good for Shirley as Maryland runs with a bit of a different lineup here. Bottom right of your screen, Malachi Palmer, the freshman, getting some early minutes tonight.
And Palmer, kind of the forgotten freshman in this recruiting class behind Queen, but was known as a high schooler, an aggressive, big-bodied, one-on-one backcourt scorer.
4 points, 5 boards, 2 steals for Palmer in his first 2 collegiate games. But the veteran Juju Reese trying to get his first bucket from the field tonight. Can't get it, and Geronimo is the last one to touch it for the Terps.
Something that's been impressive early from Florida A&M, despite the size disadvantage, they've been rebounding well, only behind by 1 in that rebound battle against a much taller Maryland team.
Here's Jermaine Charles seeing his first action, posting up on Reese and getting it to fall. How about Florida A&M, 12-2 run?
They've just settled down. They've played with pace, and they look a lot better than they did to start, obviously.
Whole new ball game here in College Park. This Maryland offense has gone radio silent. Reese trying to change that. Physicality on the inside, and it's Reese winning the battle.
Good concentration there. Got stuffed on his first attempt, staying with it, finding a little bit of space for the sweet touch off the glass.
6 points, 2 of 5 from the field for Julian Reese. Good find up court for A&M. Off the hand of Geronimo. It'll stay with the Rattlers. So the first 4 minutes controlled by Maryland, the last 4 controlled by Florida A&M. It's a 12-4 Rattler run, 7-point game.
More on the transfers, our sideline reporter, Ryan Martin.
Yeah, Jack, you see right there, Miguel, Rice, and Gillespie all providing a big spark. They were the first trio of Maryland transfers to score in double figures in a game since Maryland joined the Big Ten. But you just saw on that graphic, a combined 7 for 9 overall from 3. Head coach Kevin Willard said that's why they're here, for their spark behind the arc.
And that shooting's so important. This is a team that at times struggled to hit from deep, and everything got crowded. The spacing wasn't great at times last year. They're looking to correct that, and that's why they hit the portal so hard.
About the top of the key right there for Maryland. It's on Malachi Palmer, who checked in before the media timeout. Combined between those 3 guys we just highlighted, Gillespie, Rice, and Miguel, just 8 points so far of the 19. Gillespie 0 for 1, only taking the 1 shot. Selton Miguel, 6 points, including the lone 3-pointer for Maryland, as Florida A&M continues this run.
And they just have calmed down so much. The poise that they're playing with right now is impressive.
Gillespie with the fast break. Reese with the slam.
Good follow there from Reese. Again, just doing a good job cleaning up on the back end here from Maryland. He's been focused on the boards and loose balls. He seems like he's always there.
Back and forth we go. Florida A&M's gotten a lot more comfortable as well and just getting the ball past midcourt. Getting it in the hands of the speedster Trey Lewis.
Big part of it is they're just putting the ball on the floor less. They're passing, which is the way you beat this kind of pressure. It's right there as you see Gillespie got a hand on it.
And it is Lewis in the left corner, a little too strong. O'Neal trying to get there, crashes into the Maryland bench. Looks like he's all right. And these last 2 buckets for Florida A&M, another great find on the inside by Charles. And on the other side, it's Juju Reese doing what he does best.
For Florida A&M, as you saw on that last bucket, a big factor, it's not just the passing, but the off-ball movement. They're helping each other. They're cutting to open space that's being created as Maryland presses the ball. They might force a defensive adjustment from Maryland if they keep finding these open looks.
Maryland trying to do its own adjustments offensively. There's a good look right there from Geronimo to Gillespie. A lot of veteran talent on the floor right now for Maryland. Back at the hands of Gillespie. He takes the 3. That one won't go. Still only 1 3-pointer made for Maryland so far. That came from Selton Miguel. And it's one on the Florida A&M side as well, but with the way both teams have been playing inside, there's been no need for it. Juju Reese finally halting this Florida A&M offense. Now he's going to try and do it himself on the other end. Not quite.
Good vertical contest there, avoiding the foul.
Hendricks, Lewis, No good on the triple. Gillespie with the board. A lot more fast-paced for both sides. Palmer wasting no time. A little too quick on that shot.
That's not the shot you want that early in the shot clock. The pull-up long two is, really the least efficient look you can get in the first 5 seconds of the shot clock there.
In and out of the hands of Eatman. Right to Rodney Rice. The hometown kid from Clinton, Maryland, went to DeMatha, playing here at Xfinity. And now back and forth, the turnovers have started to become a theme here. And the missed shots as well. No good off the glass for Hendricks. Now you're going to see Maryland settle things down with Gillespie. Off-ball foul. Looked to be on Shirley in the corner.
Maryland preparing a pretty big group substitution here. Harris, Smith, Young, Selton, and Queen checking in.
It's going to be a fresh 5. How about this for Maryland? All 5 that were just in coming out, and a new 5 coming in, including Derek Queen right there in the middle.
Yeah, Kapari checked in as well, so you're right, it is an entirely fresh 5.
You rarely see that.
Makes sense that the offense is stagnated a little bit, just looking for a different look here.
But both teams in the midst of scoring droughts. Maryland has not scored in the last 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Florida A&M has not scored in the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Miguel tries to change it with that wing 3. Maryland now 1 of 7 from beyond the arc tonight. Florida A&M, on the other hand, just 1 for 4 from three-point land. They've been much more effective down low in the paint.
And Willard was looking for a travel call there. Thought that he picked up the pivot foot.
Young guarding Lewis very well. Now the bounce pass to Eatman. Down to 5 to shoot. Long range 3 for Lewis. The rebound by Milton Matthews. He hasn't been in there a whole lot, but averaging 8 points per game. The transfer from St. Thomas coming over with the head coach Patrick McCrary. Good defense down low. That was Young and Selton Miguel in on that stop for the Terps.
Yeah, it's good ball pressure. That's a smart trap right there.
Maryland 0 its last 4 from the field. Florida A&M 0 for its last 5. We're waiting to see a bucket fall. That tip will keep it in Maryland possession. Derek Queen setting up a play. Quick pass inside to Harris Smith. The whistle blows before he can make the basket.
It's interesting. It feels like their best option right now in terms of setting up offense is getting it to the freshman big up top. His vision just so good from that spot.
A very different 4 minutes in the last 4. Not much offense since we last sent it to break. 7-point lead for Maryland, 21-14 your score from Xfinity Center. Brings a lot of experience and a lot of success to this Florida A&M team.
Yeah, he's making that move from the NAIA here up to Division I. He's got a tall task in front of him. Again, a completely new team. Not to, it bears repeating. It's a completely blank slate, the 9 transfer that he's bringing in. They lost their top 6 leading scorers. This is his program now, and he's going to build it in his image.
Deshaun Harris Smith to the line. Maryland now in the bonus. The first one no good on the 1-and-1. So now Florida A&M looking for the game's first basket in the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It's been very slow offensively for both sides since that 10-minute mark. Matthews had a chance to end it right there, but it's back out to Chapman. Now Coffey into the game. Over to Washington. Good ball movement inside. There's Derek Queen forcing it to Harris Smith. That defense once again proving strong for Maryland, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Selton Miguel.
It's a really good play there from Coffey. Got the feet set. Miguel just a little bit over anxious, leaned into him. As you see right here, he was there. He was maybe leaning a little bit, but he got set, and Miguel maybe saw that little bit of movement, tried to get the contact there. As you see, Willard not happy with it, but a pretty clear charge from our vantage point.
A good awareness by Coffey, being able to set the feet, draw the foul.
Anytime you got that one-on-one, you have a pretty good chance to take one on the open floor. Miguel really just needed, honestly, he could have just put up a little floater runner, had some space.
It's going to be a key to this game for Florida A&M to simply just keep Maryland off the scoreboard. They've been doing a great job of that, and we finally get a travel called, first one this evening.
And you mentioned we haven't had any points now in, more than 4 minutes. Right after that travel call, Coffey hit a dead ball long three, so just a couple seconds removed from breaking that drought.
Teams combined 0 for their last 9 from the field. Still no buckets in the last 4 minutes and now 12 seconds. And in the last 4.5 minutes, Florida A&M with 4 turnovers. Here's Harris Smith, the loft throw to Queen. Has some space along the baseline, tries to go for the dunk, taken away by Washington. Now in the corner, Coffey.
That's incredible help defense from A&M.
Inside, contested by Derek Queen. My goodness.
He got up there, got the hand on that. Looked like it was going to be an open dunk, but Queen getting down there.
Fast break for Maryland. Can Queen do it on the other end? He's double teamed. And there's the first air ball of the night for the youngster.
And that one just forced. I mean, he was double teamed there. He had 2 bodies in front of him. You got to find a way to swing that. Tried to spin back around and get up the hook. Maybe he was expecting contact. Just not a super high IQ shot there pretty early in the shot clock.
It's been 5 minutes since the last basket. If you like defense, this is the game for you here at Xfinity tonight. Down to just 3 to shoot. Chapman's got to put it up. It's no good. Surprise, surprise. As Harris Smith quickly the other way. That's a blocking foul on Florida A&M. Harris Smith will go to the line.
And we're going to get a run back there. Maybe a little bit of a bailout as we see Harris Smith. We're going to go back actually and see Derek Queen just rejecting the dunk attempt there. Getting up, using every inch of the wingspan there.
He's been so good. First block today. He's also got 2 steals.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, he's been a force, which honestly, it's not what he was known for coming out of high school. He was known as kind of a high IQ scorer, really good passer. But I mean, Willard demands that defensive motor, and Queen's delivering here early today.
Queen's got 3 points. Harris Smith looking for his 3rd point right here. He's got 2 on the 1 field goal made, also with 3 boards. And finally, points on the scoreboard at the bottom of your screen. That ends the 5-minute, 24-second scoring drought for Maryland. Still looking for that first field goal in that time frame, though. But it's good to see that ticker move up on either direction. Can't get the second one, though, for Harris Smith. So just the 1 point on that trip down to the other side for Harris Smith in Maryland. Here's the Rattlers' response. Washington trying to cross up Jay Young.
Incredible one-on-one defense there from Young, just taking away any space.
Big reason why Willard brought Young in from Memphis, a graduate guard. And there's a whistle. Another foul inside. Looked like it was Rice.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit too much contact there. I mean, as you saw that bounce pass, there was no one on the receiving end. I think the receiver just got cleared out there.
And the subs keep flowing in. This has been a very physical game, very aggressive game. Both coaches just trying to do what they can to keep fresh legs and get whatever spark they can offensively. Quick find inside. Beautiful play set up by the Rattlers.
Really good cut there from O'Neal, finding some open space.
Now just a 6-point game with 5 and some change to go in the first half. Miguel swings to Rice. The wing 3. No good. But there is Juju Reese. Tucks it in. Swim move. The bucket.
Really nice patience there from Reese. As you saw the hands go up all around him. Just took a beat, pump faked. Got a good look.
Pump fake. O'Neal. Contact, but no foul. Maryland's got a chance for a couple points the other way. Miguel, ball fake. Stripped away. Looked like it might have gone out of bounds. Now Jay Young from the other side. That's no good. Stripped again. But this time the foul called on Reese.
I mean, with another missed 3 there, a big part of the reason this game has been so ugly offensively, these two teams a combined 2 for 16. I mean, the spacing is non-existent. Both teams are operating in a phone booth right now. Maryland relying on Reese and Queen down low. A&M really just operating off of cuts. They just don't have any space to operate.
You got to give credit where credit's due. This Florida A&M defense has been sensational so far. Absolutely fantastic as the ball goes off the foot of Jay Young. But for the Rattlers, they gave up at least 100 points in each of the first two matchups. 105 in the opener against TCU and 102 on Thursday against SMU.
And in the first few minutes of this game, it looked like we were on our way to that same result. I mean, Maryland just racing out with 12 unanswered.
The alley-oop no good. It was a 15-0 start for Maryland. 16-9 in favor of A&M since. Down to 5 to shoot. Hendricks, mid-range jumper in the hands of Gillespie. Time dwindling down in this first half, the 4-minute mark. As Maryland looks for another bucket. It's Gillespie going to take the three, and he hits it. Gillespie with his first points tonight.
And just a much-needed shot there, taking the lid off. That's Maryland's second make from deep. It's been a long time since that first one from Selton Miguel.
That was the fourth shot attempt by Gillespie, the first one to go. And there's Miguel. His defense has been spectacular, trying to take it all the way home himself, and he does.
Really nice move there, keeping the ball high, keeping it away from the defense, giving himself a chance to get it off the glass for two.
And this is the Maryland offense that started the games, now coming back to life with 3:15 to go in the first half.
And this Maryland offense relies a lot on transition and then some cuts from the high post. They need to get out and run, which is something that's been taken away from them. As you see, Florida A&M with 10 turnovers to Maryland's 4.
Time running out on that shot clock. The three from Young is no good. He's been held scoreless. That's just the first shot for the team's leader in points over the first two games. Now Rice through contact and in.
Really nice drive there from Rice. A little bit of patience on the cross. Found that floater. Looked like an and one.
Young going to do it again. There's the response. Just the second three of the ball game for the Rattlers. It's their points leader, Sterling Young.
Yeah, and he just found a huge open space there on the wing as they got out in transition. Rodney Rice was still on the ground, found the open shot.
Finally got some more offense from Sterling Young. His first points of the day makes it 31-19 Terps with 2:33 to go in the first half.
Front court, but each guy's going to have their night. Head coach Jared Queen said tonight it certainly looks like Reese's night against the Rattlers.
It certainly does, Ryan. Like we just saw, 10 points, 6 rebounds, even an assist for Julian Reese. You throw a block in there as well.
And this is the type of game that lends itself to him having a big impact. I mean, it's been slow, it's been grinded out, it's been on the boards, and it's been in the post. That's big for him.
Trying to add more.
I mean, right on cue there. Trying to dish it down low, take advantage of the height that Reese has. And, you know, this offense has kind of struggled to find answers for this aggressive Florida A&M defense. And so far, the answer consistently has been finding Reese in the paint.
And now some foul trouble for Shakir O'Neal. He's at 3 personals. The redshirt junior, the transfer from Texas Southern. Appeared in all 3 games, did not start this one, but got in pretty early. That's something to monitor on the Rattlers side.
Reese 4 for 4 from the line early. That's huge. I mean, if he can get those free points, which is something he's struggled with over the last couple of years, that just adds another dimension to his game. He can start to seek contact down low.
It's a big confidence boost. Look at Gillespie going to the ground to get that one. Fighting for possessions in the final minutes of the first half. Now Gillespie, the floater. What a moment right there for number 0. The steal and the score.
Really nice patience there. He got the screen, got his defender on his back shoulder, slowed it down, blocked him off, got that right-handed floater off. Just really nice patience from the transfer guard.
And how about this, Jack? After not scoring for about 5.5 minutes, Maryland on a 13-3 run in the last 3.
Just done a better job finding their shots. It's really as simple as that.
Under 10 to shoot for Florida A&M. And the Maryland students behind us able to force that early shot. Gillespie again, can't get it to go. Looked to be Reese that it would have been out on. Miguel trying to get it back. This will be a timeout for Florida A&M. But we go back to that run for Gillespie right there. He's trailing Sterling Young. Gets tripped up a little bit, does Young. Gillespie goes to the ground, gets it, resettles it down. Gillespie, the floater to finish.
And again, just a really, really smart finish there from Gillespie. Had his defender on his back. Got it up just in time before the defense could rotate over. He forced that big down low to make a decision. You're either going to guard Julian Reese or you're going to guard me. He picked Reese and an easy open floater for Gillespie.
For Gillespie now in this first half, 5 points on 2 of 6 from the field. The 1 3-pointer, that was his first points of the day. Already has 3 boards as well. All 3 of those have been on the defensive side. Now Patrick Crary and Florida A&M, after playing so good for about 10 minutes, a little bit of struggles defensively in these last 4.
And a big part of that is that Maryland has started to leverage the advantages that you knew that they would have. I mean, they're a bigger team, they're a stronger team, they're faster, and so they've started to use that. They've started to get Florida A&M caught up in some pick and roll action, forcing them to pick their poison. Do you want to leave Juju Reese one-on-one with the guard, or do you want to let Gillespie get that floater off? So really, Maryland's been able to generate a good shot, at least one on every possession for the last couple minutes.
Couple more possessions in this first half. Florida A&M trying to get past 20 points in the opening 20. Lewis over to Hendricks. On the right side, O'Neal with 3 fouls, but still fighting through contact to get the bucket.
Really nice Euro step into the lane to the right-handed floater. A beautiful move.
Miguel had a wide open 3, decides to go inside of the baseline, and why not? He gets the floater and 1.
That's Selton Miguel's second and 1, getting 3 the hard way. We saw down on the other end, Shakir O'Neal, the nice little Euro into the floater. Then Miguel passes up the open look, gets into contact, and that's O'Neal's 4th foul as well.
And that's huge for Maryland because O'Neal's been playing a lot of minutes in this first half.
He's been good. He's been Florida A&M's leading rebounder so far. He's been active defensively. That's a really big foul force there from Selton Miguel.
O'Neal was at 4 points, also 4 fouls, 4 boards as well for the son of Shaquille. And Miguel's going to finish off that 3-point play. He had that wide open 3, winds up with 3 on the board anyway for Maryland. And he's up to 11 points. Maryland's leading scorer in this first half. Now Florida A&M, likely the last possession of the frame for them. What will they do with it? Washington to the wing for Chapman.
Florida A&M's got Palmer stuck down in the post.
Bit of a mismatch, and then another steal for the Terps. Maryland will go quickly with no shot clock. They get the 2-pointer with Gillespie.
Nice inside hand finish there. Got the defense off balance. The beautiful transition bucket.
So now will be the Rattlers to hold for the final shot. Will it be Lewis or somebody else? About 5 seconds. Lewis. Just 2 points. Is this one stolen away? It's the travel. 1.2 seconds on the clock in this first half, and Florida A&M with yet another turnover.
Yeah, and again, that's just, you can put that one on Maryland's on-ball defense.
Miguel, the prayer, well short. But what an interesting first half, Jack. 40-21 heading into the break. Half of runs for sure.
I mean, for sure. You saw right out the gate, as you mentioned, Maryland 15-0 right out the gate. Then Florida A&M tightened it up. It got a little bit messy. Both teams started missing shots. It got into a really physical game. And then there at the end of the first, specifically from their backcourt players, they were getting hands on the ball. They were getting in the passing lanes, just making things so hard for this A&M offense. I mean, if you're Kevin Willard, that's exactly what you want to see from the team that you have been drilling into being a defensive-minded unit.
Coming into this game, Maryland giving up just a little over 50 points per game in the first 2. That's the 6th best mark in the entire country. This Maryland defensive unit only gives up the 21 points over the first 20 minutes. And now A&M to inbound to begin the second frame here in College Park.
Something to notice here, Queen on the bench, Geronimo in. A little bit of a deviation from what they started the first half with.
The other 4 on the court for Maryland, exactly the same as the starting lineup. Milton Matthews, he's been relatively quiet so far today. Only one shot attempt, no points. But trying to start the half with a three is Jacoby Hendricks. He can't get it to fall. Now Maryland with Deshaun Harris-Smith. Over left side to Selton Miguel, right back to Harris-Smith. The ball movement evident for Maryland on this opening possession of the second half. It goes to the corner for Harris-Smith, the reverse layup, and the foul.
I really like that possession from Maryland, moving the ball around, finding the open look. You see right here, Miguel kicking out to Smith. Smith with the pump fake. Harris-Smith drawing the foul in tight. It's a really productive offensive possession there for Maryland. They've struggled a little bit in the half court early today. Most of their buckets have come out in transition. That's the type of half court set that's got to be really encouraging to see from a coaching perspective.
Jacoby Hendricks with his first personal sends Harris-Smith to the line for the fourth time tonight. 1 for 3 so far is the sophomore. High arcing shot. First one goes. We have our first points of this second half. Maryland so far from the charity stripe, 9 of 12. Including that one made by Harris-Smith.
And Harris-Smith with 3 early. His growth as a scorer is going to be critical to this team, not just this year, but going forward. Struggled a little bit from the field last year. Him developing into at least a secondary, tertiary scoring option is going to be critical for this team.
Now Maryland shooting 77% from the line in the first 21 minutes of action against Florida A&M, who trying to get their first points of the second half. Lewis thought about a 3, sends it over to Matthews, top of the key. The bank is closed. A little too late after hours for that. Gillespie hits nothing but net on the other end.
In rhythm, you love the confidence. Maryland needs shooting to space the floor for this offense, and Gillespie more than happy to deliver.
Gillespie was quiet to start. Now the third Terp in double figures tonight.
So impressive how seamlessly Maryland players switch. They're all on the same page. You see right here, handing off. Geronimo now on ball, Gillespie off, and then Juju Reese slides up. Just everything works perfectly in tandem.
Matthews still quiet. Now 0-3 from the field as Maryland sends it all the way up to Geronimo, who did not have an angle for a basket. This Maryland team getting everybody involved, including Miguel. That's a pretty fadeaway, but it's no good off the back of the rim. A&M on the other end. Lewis, only 2 points on 5 field goal attempts so far for the junior out of Iowa. Matthews again top of the key. He's loving that shot, but he just can't get anything to fall right now.
A big part of that is that those screens that are creating those looks, Maryland just switches so well that there's still always a hand.
Harris-Smith to Reese.
Just wide open there. I mean, a really good roll there, good recognition from Harris-Smith to find Reese. A really good job from Reese there, just recognizing the paint was wide open for him.
It does not get any easier than that if you're Deshaun Harris-Smith and Julian Reese. Reese now up to 14. That leads all scorers. Another miscue down low for A&M. We'll stay Rattlers' possession, though, as we take another look at this Jacoby Gillespie triple.
Nothing but nylon there, shooting it in rhythm, and then just a few plays later, like you said, doesn't get easier than that. Julian Reese carving out some real estate down low.
And there's another miscue by A&M, this one on the inbound, the foul against Miguel.
And that's a direct reaction to how fast Maryland is switching. You see, I mean, the screens are illegal because Maryland's not giving them any time to set them. They're just flying around off ball. Defensively, they're just putting so much pressure on this Florida A&M team.
The second foul on Tyler Shirley, the senior. Miguel looking to add to already an impressive day, and he does.
Love that again, just like Jacoby Gillespie did just a minute ago. Selton Miguel punishing the late closeout.
Maryland on a mini run to begin this second half, just as it was to begin the first half. Shirley top of the key over to Hendricks along the left wing. Working his way through traffic, stolen away. Who else? Gillespie. Wide open Miguel, but he loses it.
And just a little bit of unforced error there in transition, but how about the on-ball defense again? The help defense, we haven't even touched on that, is so strong. Anytime Florida A&M drives into the paint, there's nowhere to operate. There's always another Maryland player rotating over right there, getting a hand on the ball.
It was 40-21 at the halftime break. 10-0 to start the second half for Maryland. Now Sterling Young with it. Left wing driving in on Gillespie. Open in the corner is Shirley, and it's good.
You saw Young, Florida A&M's leading scorer, had the ball on that left wing. That entire Maryland defense pulled out that direction. Good recognition to swing it there to the weak side, finding the open three in the corner.
First triple of the half for Florida A&M. Maryland looking for a response. Harris Smith could be the one to do it. Way long, though. Heck of an effort, too, on the baseline by Shirley to keep it in play. And another air ball, back-to-back air balls, one by each side, and that's going to get the Maryland student section into it. Miguel, quick dish to Reese. Some contact and whistle.
Good pass there. Reese honestly wasn't ready for it.
Welcome back to the Xfinity Center. 50-24, the score between Maryland and Florida A&M. It was a 10-0 run to begin this second half for the Terps.
And I mean, stop me if you've heard this before. This is the third run of the game for Maryland that's come from the defense, the suffocating on-ball defense in the passing lanes, getting the hand of the ball. They found Juju Reese down low. They found open threes. They just look so good.
Reese had an easy one earlier in the half. That one a little bit tougher, but he gets it anyway.
Just a physical play there. The lead shoulder creating some space for the left-handed finish.
Here's Miles Hall getting some action in this one. Over to Charles. Back to Shirley. Looking to fight against Reese. It's Charles coming up with the offensive rebound. There's Gillespie again, yet another steal, and he finishes it off. Are you kidding me, Jacoby Gillespie?
And the athleticism from the transfer, getting out in transition and throwing it down.
On the other end, the whistle against Geronimo. But we've got to go back and take a look at that unbelievable play by Jacoby Gillespie.
You see, I mean, just full extension, getting in the passing lane, getting out in transition. Didn't look like he had the runway, but get up. Slamming it home.
Deshaun Harris Smith loves it on the Maryland bench. And now Shirley to the line for Florida A&M. That's the exciting play that the Xfinity Center crowd has been waiting for all night long. There's been a couple of Juju Reese dunks, but nothing like that for Gillespie, and yet again, coming off the defense.
Gotta love a big man dunk, but nothing gets a crowd fired up like the point guard doing it himself.
Maryland's had a lot of luck with the point guards in recent memory. Jameer Young, Vance Russell.
I say big shoes to fill for Gillespie transferring in.
Anthony Cowan right before that. And Rodney Rice, another new face, adding another triple.
And obviously this game ticking towards out of hand, but again, this is jump ball force there. This game ticking towards out of hand, but right there, Rodney Rice. That shooting off the bench is going to be critical for Maryland. It felt like at times last year when Jameer Young wasn't on the floor, the offense wasn't on the floor. Maryland being able to find contributions up and down the roster, especially when it comes to spacing, is going to be so important.
So pure for Rodney Rice, who's 3 of 6 from the field tonight. Gillespie tries to add another 3, can't do it. Reese for 2.
Big man to big man there. Queen got the hand on the rebound, tipped it. Reese collected it and cashed in.
Here's Coffey, yet another turnover by the Rattlers. Miguel quick the other way, Queen the lay-in. And another timeout for Florida A&M. What a second half for the Terrapins.
Yeah, they've just been so good. Any mistake that was present in that kind of intervening right there, as you see Selton Miguel collecting that, getting out in transition. Watch the patience again, uses his eyes, draws in the defender, and finds a cutting Queen. What a play for this Terrapins offense.
Derek Queen finally gets back in on the action. It's 60 after already playing TCU and SMU, including the trip to College Park tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about Maryland's key games coming up later in the half. But now for the Rattlers, this is a crucial stretch in this ball game. Down by 36. Obviously things getting a little bit out of hand, but still trying to get quality possessions together. Only 4 points in this second half so far for the Rattlers. That won't help as O'Neill travels.
Yeah, and obviously that possession coming up empty. But in the first half, we saw them make some adjustments, and a lot of that just came from slowing down and trusting, each other, passing the ball more. They've been trying to go one-on-one again, and against this Maryland defense, that's just not going to work.
Queen, Rice, 3. Too easy for Maryland.
What a pass from Queen right into the shooting pocket. Rice in rhythm, delivering from the corner.
Now a 10-0 run for Maryland. It was a 10-0 run to begin this half. 15-0 run once again to begin the first half. It's been those 3 stretches for Maryland that have lifted this to a 39-point lead with 13 to go. There's Shakir O'Neal. Before it could go, Queen took it away, but there was a whistle.
And see right there, Lewis going over just to check in. He had an open shot there. That's kind of emblematic of the issues that Florida A&M has had so far. There's a little bit of hesitancy, right? They're a little bit out of control. This defensive aggression has gotten to them, and they just need to kind of settle back in.
And here is those key games for Maryland. 4 ranked opponents, including number 15 Marquette, right here at Xfinity Center on Friday night.
It's hard to overstate how important that game is, because that's when, this crowd here at Xfinity and the University of Maryland as a whole figures out what this team is. That's their first major test. It'll be interesting.
And there's a ton of tests down the line. Next week, Maryland will go to the Prudential Center and take on Villanova. Conference play starts on December 4th when Maryland takes on Ohio State here in College Park. Here's Rodney Rice, who's had a couple of triples tonight. Over to the corner for Jay Young. Still looking for his first bucket of the evening. Queen with the screen, Rice with the shot, but he can't get the bucket. And it's out of bounds on Maryland.
It's a good look, though. It's generated by the screen there for Rice. They've done a much better job. Again, there was that kind of stagnant period in the middle of the first half where Maryland was struggling to get good looks. They've used a lot more screens, off-ball movement, on-ball screens to generate some open looks, and they've been cashing in so far, minus that miss just now.
Field goal drought for Florida A&M, closing in on 4 minutes. A tough second half so far for the Rattlers. After what was a back-and-forth first half, where Florida A&M had it as close as 6 points. And there's a nice bucket inside for Tyler Shirley.
Good job.
He's up to 10 points.
Good job from Shirley there. Initiated the bump, waited until Queen's hands came down, quickly got off the glass. Nice little shot there.
Shirley, the leading scorer, with 10. The next is Eatman with 6. And there's a quick whistle on the near side against A&M. And that'll take us to the under 12 timeout at Xfinity Center. Maryland poor.
Give up too many open looks. They're not fighting through screens to the same extent that they were back in that first half. And then also just trusting themselves and trusting each other. Like I said before the break, there's been a little bit of hesitance, and that has led to some turnovers. On drives, they've second-guessed themselves, kind of pulled up short, and that's when Maryland gets a hand on the ball. You have to know what you're trying to do and just execute it.
Rodney Rice to begin this stretch for Maryland at the line. Was fouled on the other side of the break by Milton Matthews, which was his first personal. There's 2 players on the court right now in some foul trouble for Florida A&M as Testudo makes his rounds around the court. 4 fouls for Shakir O'Neal and also 4 fouls for Tyler Shirley. Shirley, the leading scorer for Florida A&M in this one, as Rice misses both.
That's pretty uncharacteristic from Rice, who's been just an excellent shooter in the early going of this season.
So here is O'Neal. You see Shirley at the top of the key. He gets it here. Gapari back in for Maryland. Also see Malachi Palmer, number 7. Some young new faces on the floor for the Terps right now. O'Neal's pass inside, looking for Matthews. Finally finds the hands of Jermaine Charles, who finishes off the possession with the bucket.
good composure there, collecting yourself. Obviously, you're on the ground, having the presence of mind to make that pass for the easy bucket.
Maryland in a mini scoring drought as well right now. A little over 2 minutes, but they've made 6 of the last 8 field goal attempts. Rodney Rice has also started to get hot from beyond the arc. Not as much right now. Missed the last 2 from beyond the arc as Queen gets the tough bucket and the foul.
It's so fun to watch Queen work inside because the thing about him is he's not necessarily the most vertical athlete. You see him here getting the rebound. He uses his strength, his IQ. He's in the right place there, playing through heavy contact for the and one.
Derek Queen, 22 points, 20 rebounds in the opener against Manhattan. That was the first 20-20 double-double for Maryland since Joe Smith in the 1995 NCAA tournament. Queen adds 8 more points on Friday, and right now matches that with 8 points tonight against Florida A&M.
I mean, that debut created buzz all around the college basketball world. I mean, you saw people talking about lottery pick, people talking about him being a one and done. I mean, he boosted his national profile immediately upon arriving to College Park.
He's also the second player in college basketball history to post a 2020 in his collegiate debut. As there's a nice and one on the other end for Milton Matthews.
And Florida A&M starting to play a little bit better, finding their rhythm, is right here playing through contact.
And that's the first points of the day for the District Heights native Milton Matthews. The graduate guard transfer from St. Thomas University came over with Patrick Crary, the head coach for Florida A&M.
We talked about from District Heights. I mean, it's got to be a special moment to play just down the road, you know, from where you grew up.
Homecoming for Crary, for Matthews as well. A couple other homecomings as Queen goes all the way home.
Coast to coast. I mean, what a weapon there. Queen at 6'10", bringing the ball up, splitting the defense right down the middle, straight to the rack for 2.
Shirley taken away. Gapari finally getting in on the action. Up court to Young. To the wing for Palmer. No good. Palmer is still looking for his first collegiate three-point make. Could have had it right there. Matthews trying to stay hot. He cannot. The rebound by Burnside, who started this game but has rarely been in. Now Matthews, O'Neal. Back to Lewis. He's going to take a shot from 3. In and out. Now 3 of 17 from beyond the arc for Florida A&M, but we did have a whistle on Derek Queen.
Yeah, just an off-ball foul there. Is right here, get another look at the coast-to-coast, finishing it off with the strong finish from Queen.
Nobody wanted to get in front of him. He cleared the lane. Nobody wanted to see the big body, 6'10", 246.
I was about to say, that's a runaway train at 6'10", almost 250. That's not a charge you want to take.
Certainly not. Adding a new element to this Maryland offense is Derek Queen. Matthews, through contact, just misses. Still up in the air, Lewis able to take care of it. Burnside goes around Queen. He misses with the left hand.
Really nice help side defense there from Queen, rotating over to get a hand up.
The lob, Gillespie was looking for Gapari. Near disaster there along the baseline. And that might be the last foul on Shirley. That's his 5th. As Queen will go to the line.
Yes.
Excuse me, Gapari will go to the line. So Shirley will come out. Some more substitutions. Chance Stevens checks in for the first time today for Maryland.
Stevens, one of those guys they're hoping can provide some shooting spark for this team.
He's appeared in both games. The sniper, they call him. Gillespie, who's nicknamed the cheat code, can't make that triple. Wide open on the other end for the layup, but no good for Trey Lewis. O'Neal hits the ground hard. He's banged up on the other end as Gapari fights through 3 to get 2. Lewis inside of Burnside. 9-minute mark in this ball game. What a half it's been for the Terps. Matthews, off balance, triple.
Nice job there. Caught the ball, little pump fake, created the sidestep for the open corner three.
Gillespie with it now. He's at 12 points.
Watch them here running Derek Queen on an off-ball screen up top. Look for Stevens to come over the top, and he will.
Stevens, the sniper, misses his first 3 of the ball game.
And that was a play called up for Stevens. You saw Queen get waved over, set the off-ball screen. That's a good look, just not able to cash in.
Stevens, known for his three-point shooting, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc to start his Maryland career. Harris Smith to Stevens from the corner. Again, no good. Some struggles from beyond the arc to start the Maryland career for Stevens. Matthews tipped away by Queen. But right back to number 5 in green.
What a recovery from Queen. Got him up in the air, able to land, have the body control to immediately turn around with the opposite hand and affect that shot.
Another triple. It's Hendricks, his first points tonight. As Florida A&M continues to get everybody involved. We talked at the beginning of the game, Jack, but 9 different starters in just the first 2 games. There was a whole new lineup out there today, and we've continued to see that rotation.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure it out right now, figure out what works as Queen works inside and draws the foul. When you have a new team like this with 9 transfers, you just kind of got to throw things at the wall and see what works, what lineups work, what players work together.
Burnside picks up that foul. Derek Queen starting to get in on the action. He's up to 10 points in his 3rd collegiate game.
Starts against Washington, Oregon, and UCLA to start the new calendar year before welcoming in USC on February 20th. Guys?
Thanks, Ryan. And that UCLA matchup is going to be one to watch. Just a couple of years ago, UCLA came in here and destroyed Maryland at home right before Christmas. Now the first home game for Maryland in 2025 will be against that Bruins squad.
And that was such a good UCLA team that year. Just so talented top to bottom.
As Derek Queen misses the first free throw. 10 points on 4 of 6 from the field. 2 boards, 3 assists for Derek Queen. Once again, his 3rd collegiate game. Juju Reese will come back in for Maryland. Have a stat here. The last time, Maryland had 5 players in double figures was against Alcorn State last season. Reese had 15, Jameer Young had 13, Deshaun Harris Smith with 12, Geronimo with 12 as well, and then one of the new Butler players, the transfer out of Maryland, Jamie Kaiser Jr., had 12. And here tonight, so many of those depth pieces showing for Maryland. Gillespie, Miguel, Reese, Queen, and Rice, all with at least 10.
And a lot of new faces in that group. This is a very different Maryland team than we saw last year.
Harris Smith tries to get to Reese, 2 of the returners. There's not a lot of them on this Maryland squad this year. 5 transfers, 2 freshmen, make up about half the roster.
I mean, really the biggest difference in terms of a shift for this Maryland team is obviously Jameer Young's departure. He was such a critical piece, especially scoring the ball for this Maryland team. Felt like as he went, the team went. Maybe now a little bit more of a committee situation here for the Terrapins.
There's 8 returners for Maryland from last year's squad, in addition to the 7 new guys, all contributing to this fantastic start to the season. O'Neal swings it out. It's Young with the takeaway. Behind the back, tries to do it again, but it's taken away by Hendricks.
I think they might have gotten Hendricks on a foul there, a lot of contact.
And they do. His 2nd personal will send Young to the line.
Just got him reaching there with the behind the back, then switching it back from right to left, looking for the finish. Hendricks' hand just got caught up in there.
Jay Young, only 1 shot tonight. It was a 3-pointer. 2 defensive rebounds for the graduate guard out of Dallas, Texas. He's got his first point of the night. 6 points across the first 2 games for Young, the transfer from Memphis. Also spent the 2022-23 season at UCF, where he started 33 of 34 games. He's going to go 1 for 2.
It is interesting how much the transfer portal has changed college sports. I mean, this Maryland team, a perfect example when you look at a lot of the contributors that they're looking towards in the rest of their schedule. So many of them coming over from other schools.
And that reigns true even more for Florida A&M with 9 transfers. But one of those is Milton Matthews. He's got another 3 to his name. Florida A&M continuing to make this one exciting. They are not going down without a fight. Continuing to take those aggressive shots from beyond the arc. Matthews has been a part of that as Reese adds on yet another.
And what a beautiful move there from Reese, spinning towards the baseline, protecting the ball with his body. You see right here, closes off his defender, goes to the left hand. There's just really nothing Eatman can do there. Reese generating contact, finishing through it.
20 points now for Julian Reese, and he's 1 rebound away from a double-double. He's now to 21 points, 8 of 12 from the field, 5 of 5 from the charity stripe.
And that's huge. Again, the free throw shooting, so big.
You're seeing the young fans get to witness this duo of Reese and Queen, but also they get to see the tall guy, Braden Pierce, 7 feet tall, 245 pounds, the redshirt freshman getting his first action tonight. Inside, O'Neal. We've seen that one before, haven't we?
What a beautiful cut there from O'Neal. Faked like he was coming up around, just swung right back down baseline. Good dish there for the open slam.
Looking like pops on that one. And now Maryland slowing things down on the other side. Fresh faces all across the court, excluding Stevens, who redshirted last year, takes the 3 from the wing and hits it. The sniper with his first 3 tonight.
There it is, generated space, pump fake, little side step. Just a beautiful move there from Chance Stevens.
And what a story. Spent his freshman year at Loyola Marymount, made 49 of his 52 attempts from beyond the arc. Has a knee injury last year during the offseason, forces him to miss the entire year as Hendricks hits on the other side in the paint. But Stevens, in that game against Manhattan last Monday, played his first game in 611 days. And right there, in that last possession, makes his second 3-pointer of the season. Miguel looking to get the Terps past 80. Shot wide a little bit to the left. They've gone back and forth. Florida A&M starting to get a little bit hotter. Now 4 of their last 4 from the field.
Physical play there, just using the body. Really good job there from Young.
Kapari, Miguel trying to find Pierce inside, but it's back to Jay Young. Miguel driving. Pierce, floater, no good.
It's a good look there for the big man, though. Found some room, just a foot or 2 in front of the elbow. Little push shot, just left a little bit to the left.
So close to those first collegiate points for Braden Pierce. They'll have to wait another possession. Now down to 15 to shoot for Florida A&M. They don't get the true shot, but they get the foul called on Braden Pierce. Eatman was the one to try and go up. We take a look at some recent highlights. Shakir O'Neal looking like his old man on the far side. And then on the near side, Chance Stevens, the sniper, connects from beyond the arc for the second time in a Maryland uniform. We head into the final immediate timeout with the Terps up by 31.
It's a competitive conference this year, and how about for Florida A&M? They've struggled a little bit offensively, but they've gotten some really good production from Matthews here, especially here in the second half, seeing with the sidestep 3, again, mentioned just from right down the road. Been getting hot from deep, and he's looked really good for a Florida A&M team that struggled to generate quality looks.
9 points for Matthews on 3 of 10 from the field. All 9 have come in this second half.
And he's been playing with conviction. I think that's the thing that jumps off the page. He's been able to find looks. He's generated looks for himself. He's ended up in the right spots. And maybe projects as a major contributor for this Florida A&M team down the stretch this season.
Jadarius Eatman, the graduate forward, to the line for 2. He misses the first one. Milton Matthews yet again taking a little bit of time to get into a true rhythm this year. Came in shooting 25% from the field, 30 tonight. But he's got those 9 points and 2 threes to add on to it. Here's Deshaun Harris-Smith. Next Maryland basket or point gets him above 80. Stevens on the wing will slow it down. Harris-Smith with 5 points. A bit of a quiet night for him, but there's been so many different players that have gotten involved. He's going to try and make a little bit more noise. Can't do it as the 3 goes wide to the right. Hendricks bringing it up. He's gotten a lot of minutes in his 3rd game of the season. With it now right in front of that Gary Williams logo. Williams in attendance last week for those 2 games. Matthews tries to get another on the baseline. Back to Young. Off the board, and the whistle again on the youngster Braden Pierce.
Good save from Matthews, and then a good job there from Young forcing the issue, going into Pierce. See right here, just initiating contact with that front shoulder, forcing him into the foul.
Here's Sterling Young. He'll get 2 chances to add to this total for Florida A&M. First one is no good. Scoring drought of 2 minutes, 29 seconds for Maryland as Jay Young checks back in. Good crowd at Xfinity Center tonight. We'll likely see Maryland improve to 3-0 to start the season.
Nate, a big one coming up.
And 0 for 2 goes Sterling Young from the charity stripe. His only 2 free throw attempts tonight.
One thing interesting, they're letting Deshaun Harris-Smith take lead ball handler duties here in the closing minutes. Maybe just working on that, see if that's a viable option as they head into the meat of their schedule.
Malachi Palmer, mismatch with the double team. Right back to Pierce, 2 of the younger players on this Maryland roster. 2 to shoot. Palmer, the 3. Still can't get that first one. And we have an off-ball whistle. Looks to be on number 4. But which number 4? It is Maryland's number 4, Braden Pierce. And we'll send it over to Ryan. You got something for us.
Yeah, Nate, a fun one here. You saw Derek Queen and Rodney Rice each get 20 points in the first 2 games of the season. Now it's Julian Reese's turn to get 20 points. Nate, how about this? It's the first time a trio of different Maryland players have scored 20 points in the first 3 games since 01-02. Nate, we know how that 02 season ended with a national championship for Maryland.
That's right, Ryan. And here's another stat for you as the first free throw is made by Charles. Maryland's in search of 3 consecutive 30-point wins to start a season for the first time in program history. That free throw missing puts it at 30 points. This one's going to come down to the wire in that regard. But certainly a historic start to the season for this Maryland squad.
And they've been dominant in their non-conference schedule so far. They've gotten contributions, as Ryan just mentioned, from a lot of different players. That's got to be heartening to see, especially coming into the season knowing you were going to need that.
Stevens again from 3, not quite. Palmer with the offensive rebound. He's been so good just finding the basketball tonight. He finds his teammate Braden Pierce, the lob, his first collegiate bucket.
Love it there with the jump stop for the big man to the right-handed hook shot.
What a moment for Braden Pierce. Didn't see any action last year, part of that very good recruiting class a year ago, but he's going to pick up another foul. He's getting a lot of them here in this second half.
Yeah, just a little bit of a lack of body control there. Tried to stay vertical, but how about the body control here? The jump stop, the right-handed baby hook through the contest. What a bucket for Pierce.
That was his 4th personal, the 9th team foul. Florida A&M's been in the bonus for a little while now. O'Neal makes the first one. And now the walk-ons. will get into the game for Maryland. Ben Murphy, Lucas Sotel, they've each played in the first two. You see Murphy right there by the Big Ten logo wearing number 40. Sotel at the top of the key wearing number 30. Always get a big roar when those two come in.
I was going to say, you heard the pop from the Xfinity crowd with a minute 25 on the board here still. A chance for some walk-on buckets.
Sotel did take a shot in the opener against Manhattan. Neither has scored this season. Palmer on the short corner. O'Neal with the board, using that height. Now Hendricks, as we hit about 1 minute to go. Over to Charles. Back to O'Neal. Remember that 30-point stat for Maryland. Looking for the first time in program history, they start a season with 3 straight 30-point wins, and there is a foul. This will send the Rattlers to the line. Look to be on Sotel, one of the walk-ons.
And stuff like you said, right now, Maryland looking for that 3rd straight 30-point win. They're sitting on exactly 30 here with 46.8 to go. And you know that regardless of how these 2 free throws go, this next possession will be the last shot for Maryland because they will hold after that.
Young, no, on the first one. The drama builds. 30-point game, but this could be history for Maryland. Some of the students hanging out along the wall. They stay to the very end of what will be Maryland's 3rd win of the season, and it's in and out. Right now, Maryland would have that 30-point number that they wanted coming in.
It's the last chance to get some cushion here, Nate.
Palmer looking for his first collegiate 3. Why not? Malachi Palmer, the true freshman from beyond the arc for the first time. And there is that cushion you alluded to, Jack. Let's see what A&M can do. The putback is good for Charles, but Maryland will likely roll things out now. This will be the first time in program history that Maryland will have 3 consecutive 30-point wins to start a season. 79-49 in the opener, 86-52 on Friday, and an 84-53 win tonight over Florida A&M.
And just dominant from front to back. It started with the defense forcing 22 Florida A&M turnovers, scoring 31 points off those turnovers. Maryland